Hello everyone, welcome to Casual Friday here at Digital Charcuterie. Casual Friday will just be a day where we will casually go through things. We will go over topics of the week that I thought were intriguing or that you guys wanted me to talk about. And one of the things that you wanted me to talk about was the new Super Mario Brother movie that Illumination Studios will be making. Now, as none of you know, the Super Mario Brother movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo is a very, 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 very much guilty pleasure of mine. It is a film that no one would go take me to see in the theater, and so I was forced to see it on television on the movie network when I was a child, and I taped it off of that, and I think I ruined that cassette tape. My sister Kristen and myself, we love that movie. We watched it over and over and over again, and it is a god-awful. Obviously, if you break it down, it's actually as a sci-fi film, it's actually not that bad as a sci-fi film, but as a Mario film, it obviously is not Mario whatsoever. It changed it tenfold. It's just, there's a complete 180 from what Mario is. Goombas are 10 feet tall and whatnot. And so I was thinking about this new Illumination movie that's coming out, the Super Mario Brother movie that Nintendo obviously gave their blessings to, and they said, yeah, let's make it. Mario is a brand. Mario is more than just a video game. He is a brand. He is a brand ambassador for Nintendo. He is, he's like Mickey Mouse. He is an icon of something. I'm not sure what, but it's an icon of my childhood. I love Super Mario. He's one of my top characters. If you were to say, what are your favorite characters? We're going to be talking about a couple of them today. Yesterday we did Ninja Turtles, but Mario would be right up there. Jughead would be right up there. These are characters that I absolutely love my entire life. I've so much loved these characters. So this Illumination thing really, really, really excites me because, the Minion movies, spoiler alert, I have not seen a Minions movie, but I've heard nothing but great things about them, so I can't speak to that. But I've seen, Horton Hears a Who and whatnot. They're the same company, and that was tremendous. Now, Minions, I know a lot about Minions. For not seeing the Minions movie, I know an absolute lot. And one thing I will say, if you can replicate something from Despicable Me into the Super Mario Brother film that's coming, it would be the Goombas and the Minions. Because if you can turn Goombas into a Minion type character, and I'm not saying they talk or any of that, I'm just saying character wise, what are you going to do in this movie? Mario is a side-scrolling adventure, unless of course it's Mario 64 or Galaxy, but for the most part it is a side-scrolling adventure. You jump on Koopas and Goombas, and none of them have characteristics if you're looking at it, and the live action movie tried to do something with them. A lot of people would say that it failed at it. I'm kind of in this half and half boat on all of that. I don't like that they're giant, but I also kind of understand it. Now this one, look, if you don't make them the little mushroom things running around, then you failed at this film, I would say. But you could give them characteristics. They are, in a way, Bowser's minions. So you give them each those characteristics, and you could really, really propel that forward. Bowser, on the other hand, that's another character I would really like to see what they do with him there. Look, when I was growing up, I was obsessed with Super Mario Brothers video games, but also the cartoons. There were several cartoons. There was Super Mario World, there was Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and Super Mario Brother World, I found more than Super Mario Brothers Super Show, is it propelled Koopa into a character because he had the Koopa Kids, and the Koopa Kids are very important to Koopa as a character because he's a lizard, but they humanize him in a way. They give him something to fight for, and I think that's going to be important in this movie. And I think the Koopa Kids, I can't see them not doing the Koopa Kids in this. I mean, why wouldn't you? Each one of them has their own characteristics. It's just there's so much story to be told there, and then it gives Mario more and more to do. And if you are smart about it, which I'm pretty sure Illumination is after doing 3 Despicable Me movies and a Minion spin-off movie, is why would you not look at the big picture of a franchise here with the Super Mario Brothers? Don't give me one Mario Brother movie. Give me, set it up with one, but down the road, I want to see more. I want to see 2. I want to see 3. I want to see World. I want to see Galaxy. I want to see 3D Land, 3D. I want to see it all. I want it all to come full. I want to go to Universal Studios, and I want to go on the Mario Brother ride, which a Mario Brother park is coming. And in Niagara Falls, Niagara Falls, Canada, I believe there is a Mario Kart track. And I don't know if you guys have been to arcades. I don't know what they have in United States or Europe or anything, but here we have Dave and Buster's thing where it's an arcade and a restaurant, and they have Mario Kart where you can sit down and actually play the Mario Kart. You know what I would also love? A Luigi's Mansion spinoff. Sorry, they have a Luigi's Mansion video game in there as well. That's one of my favorite guilty pleasure games also. It's not traditional, but I absolutely love it. A Luigi's Mansion spinoff would be a phenomenal movie. Think about that. You can bring that out next Halloween, following this. There's so much to do with the Mario character. He hasn't been tremendously explored characteristically. Like I said, the movie tried something and it might have failed, but there's more to Mario and there's more to have fun. And I just think the Minions, comparing to the Goombas and the Koopa Troopas and all that, I think you really have something fun to play with. And that is what really, when you play Mario, you don't play it for the story. The story is you've got to rescue the princess, or you've got to say Dreamland, or whatever it is. But the movie should almost be the same. The plot should be inconsequential to your experience, to your joy. And look, that could be a negative, but I think, look, if the story is Mario, Luigi have to rescue Princess Peach, cool. But it's going to be the fun. It's going to be the journey from A to B that you're going to be invested in, because we all know the outcome of this movie is going to be happy. There's going to be Illuminations too. Like, it's for kids, it's going to be a happy ending. So it's going to be the joy, the jokes, the adventure in between. That is really what it's going to hinder on. And, you can look at Pixar and DreamWorks, but DreamWorks with Shrek, maybe they could have pulled it off, but Illumination to me just screams like a match made in heaven for this film. I think this will really right the wrong that Nintendo feels happened after the Bob Hoskins one. Too bad Bob Hoskins has passed away and will not be able to voice Mario. He was so perfect in that role. I don't care what you think about the movie. Bob Hoskins as Super Mario, absolutely perfect in that role. So I'm looking forward to that Mario film. As details come in, we'll talk more and more about it, because, like I said, Mario is one of my favorite things on the planet. Next, we're going to talk about my second favorite, Jughead P. Jones. We're going to talk Riverdale, the Riverdale show. I just finished season 1. I'm catching up on season 2. I haven't fully gone into season 2. And, for a whole year, everyone was like, you have to watch Riverdale. You have to watch Riverdale. I grew up with Archie comics. People would just give me Archie comics, and then eventually I would go to the grocery store and I would grab one and buy it myself. And I remember one time I asked my mom to get me a Christmas Archie comic, and she came home and she gave me this Archie comic. I think it was just an Archie digest, I believe. And anyway, but it had him in a Santa hat. And I looked at my mom and I said, "No, Mom, this isn't a Christmas one." And she goes, "But it has Santa on the cover." And I go, "I know, but the way Archie works is if there's Santa on the cover, there's only going to be one Christmas comic strip in here. And you have to get the one with snow on the ground where him and Betty and Veronica are walking. Then you'll know that it's Christmas." And my mom was just like, "What are you talking about? Go get a girlfriend." And so that was like, I knew Archie. I knew how to pick the comics, which would be ones that I loved. So everyone said, "You have to watch Riverdale. You have to watch Riverdale." A year and a half later, or a year later, I guess, here I am, caught up on season 1 of Riverdale, and I have a few thoughts on it, to be honest. First, I actually really, really love this show. It is not very good, but I absolutely love it. The characters, I cannot believe how perfect they have cast this show, and how perfect the characters are to their comic strip goody two-shoes counterparts. It's like these are grown-up versions of the characters I grew up with. And because they are so perfectly in tune with what I read growing up, that I accept the grown-up material behind it. It's very strange. It's this give and take, and I'm fully on board with it, because everyone, like I said, the casting is phenomenal. It's like Betty and Veronica look like they just came out of the page, and they're like, we're live action. And you're like, how did that happen? Archie, Jughead, like everyone is just so perfect. Now, obviously, you have Fred Andrews, who looks nothing like. The parents are where they went astray. But I have no problem with that. They all work within the context of the story that's being told on the television. Now, Mr. Weatherby is my one point of and season 2, he seems a lot more, from the 3 or 4 episodes I've seen of season 2, he seems a lot more like the comic book Mr. Weatherby. Season 1 is very like dark and mysterious, and I wasn't too into that. I was like, no, Mr. Weatherby needs to be like goofy, like Archie, I'm coming to get you. That's how I felt. It wasn't like he didn't take me out of it. I was just like, that's hashtag not my Weatherby. Miss Grundy was completely off the rails, and I don't know if you haven't seen season 2. I don't want to spoil it, but she comes back in a big way, in a crazy way. So that was, and I loved. There's one part in season 1 where they're like, Miss Grundy's not her real name. I looked up at Miss Grundy and she died a few years ago, and they throw down this newspaper clipping of her obituary, and it's Miss Grundy from the comic. It's like a live action, the perfect Miss Grundy from the comic. You're like, awesome. And this is the thing with the show, is the plot isn't amazing. Like the plot, it's a CW show trying to do like an adult plot. So it's, it always feels kind of goofy, but what makes me accept that so much is the Archie comics very much did that. Like the Archie comics could never be serious because everything kind of seemed goofy in the Archie comics. And so when they do it here, I'm way more accepting of it because it's Archie and the gang. If this was, Stranger Things and these were like the storylines and the plots, I'd be like, whoa, this is way off. But because it is Archie and the gang, because they go to Pops for the burgers and the milkshakes and whatnot, it changes my whole outlook on it, and I can't stop smiling at the screen when this show is on. And look, if you're not into Archie, I can't say you will enjoy this show that much. For me, like I said, it's a growing up with Archie. Jughead is definitely my top 5 favorite characters of all time, if not top 3. He's way, way up there. I absolutely love Juggy. I have an Archie's Greatest Hit album. It's one of the first CDs I ever bought in the early 90s. My parents and I, my sister, we were at some store and they had a bin of CDs. Not unlike you would see at like a Walmart nowadays, but this was back when CDs were brand new. And they're like, oh, look, they have these discount CDs. And I went through and I found this amazing Archie's thing. And I was like, what the Archies? That's my thing. They actually have, like, I knew the Archies were in the comics, but I was like, this is amazing. So I put it on and fell in love. Sugar, sugar, jingle, jangle, jingle, jangle is a drug in the second season of Riverdale. The attention to detail of the comics is so respectful that when they do something so unexpected, you are on board because of the respect they show to the characters that from the comics. The goody two-shoes, like I said, are now like in 2018. They've modernized them. Now there is the murder subplot and now the drug subplot, and they have like the Zodiac thing happening in season 2, and Archie sets up this gang to like combat this Zodiac type killer. And I'm like, that is so dumb, but that is so Archie. That is exactly what Archie would do. I can't get over it. All right, final topic for today before I let you guys enjoy your weekend. Again, thank you so much for joining me here, taking your time out of your day to be with me on this day. It means a lot. Please give us a like and a subscribe. It helps us out quite a bit. But last but not least, I want to talk Deadpool 2 versus Han Solo. It's not really a versus. Look, the Deadpool 2 Meet Cable dropped. I posted it online. It was one of the first videos we had on this channel, and it was phenomenal. It was the tone of Deadpool that you want. It was a joke. It was not. It was like they made it just for that, so you're like super extra excited about what's happening. And Josh Brolin looks fantastic as Cable. Ryan Reynolds obviously back doing his Deadpool thing. Every single part of this trailer made me smile, and I like Deadpool 1. I wasn't someone that was obsessed with it. I enjoyed it. It's not something I go back to watch too much. Full disclosure, blood and stuff, it's not really my thing. So like when they went over the top with the gore, I was like, this is taking me out a little bit. That's a personal thing. I appreciate the movie for what it was. I understand that it is a good film. Believe me, I've seen it multiple times. But Deadpool 2, I'm sure it will have all of that, but it has the tone that I really enjoyed from the first one. No one better than Ryan Reynolds to portray this character, and he's such a great ambassador for it as well. Now, it did move up 2 weeks to May 18th, so that means it will be out a week before the Han Solo movie, which the trailer just dropped for that, and that was a phenomenal trailer. They did 2 trailers, 1-2 punch, bam, 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 which I talk about on my Rebel Scum podcast channel. If you guys want to go over there and watch, if you guys like Star Wars, if you don't know about it, Rebel Scum podcast is where we talk about Star Wars. We did a reaction to that, talked about that. Looks phenomenal. Now, is one of these movies going to hurt the other movie? I don't know. Deadpool will be rated R. Han Solo will be rated PG at most. I I don't think it'll be PG-13. It looks like it'll be a PG film. I can't see one hurting the other. I think, look, you're going to get big audience opening weekend for for Deadpool, and you're going to get a big audience opening weekend for Solo. And then the following week, whichever one the audiences feel is the better one will probably come out on top. My guess right now would be Solo. If either one of those two will come out on top in that following weekend, it will be Solo because A, it will be the newer one, but B, more people will be able to see it. And who's to say people won't buy a ticket for Solo and sneak into Deadpool if you're underage? That is always a possibility. If they are both great films, I hope that they go neck and neck and they hit up. But people forget, Deadpool 1 came out on February 14th. It came out in February. There's not a whole lot going on in that month. It was alone. Black Panther will show you that this month, I hope. But now you've got a real big competition going on. And it'll be fun. It's going to be a fun summer. A lot's happening. Avengers, obviously, and if Avengers is phenomenal, it could just overshadow both of these. So who knows what's going to happen with Deadpool. I wouldn't say it's Deadpool versus Solo. I mean, Fox was bought by Disney, but I don't think that comes into effect yet. So, look, what a time. Every week we got a movie coming out that we're excited for this summer. Every weekend. And if you can only look at the negatives of that, I can't help you. You got to look at the positives. You go see Deadpool, amazing. Now, if you can't afford to see them all, that's another thing. So you got to pick and choose carefully. For me, if I'm looking at these two trailers, I'm biased. I have to go with Solo on it. But to be honest, that Deadpool 2 one, Meet Cable, blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. Just, if I wasn't thinking about seeing it before, I am definitely thinking about seeing it now because that, just like I said, the tone, Roland is so, the little bit we got of Roland, I'm just like, this looks perfect. He looks like Cable. It feels like Cable. Oh, man, it was just a tremendous, tremendous film. Absolutely cannot wait for that. What do you guys think? Do you want to see Han Solo? Do you want to see Deadpool? Have you been watching Riverdale, the Mario Brother film? Are you excited about that? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll be coming back weekly with shows. We're going to be a little slow getting off the ground, but in March, we're going to pick it up and go full steam ahead. So thanks a lot. Give us a like and a subscribe. And until next week, I will see you. Thank you.